Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Diamond Effect Podcast. And today I have a special guest, one of my clients, Maria, with me. And we'll talk all about growing your business strategically, including strategic planning. But before we move on to that, Maria, welcome. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited about our conversation. But first, maybe please introduce yourself to everybody and tell us a little bit more about your business, how you started it, why you started it, and then we'll, get on with the main conversation.
Definitely. So my name is Maria Nenciu, and I'm a lease auditor by profession. And I'm the owner of Richvale Consulting, doing lease audit and other real estate, commercial real estate services, providing these services to Canadian and United States clients. I worked in accounting all my life. I love numbers, but I also love helping people. That's something that I've always dreamed of, helping people. When I was a kid, I thought I can do that by becoming a doctor. That didn't happen. But over years, getting into accounting, I was pretty comfortable. And at some point in my career, I felt that I'm not making the progress that I wanted to make. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And I had the great opportunity, to working as a lease auditor back in 2011. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love that area. And from there, I just blossomed, I think. I worked for landlords, I worked for clients, mm-hmm. And then later on, 5 years ago, I decided to take the next step and open my own practice. Mm-hmm. It wasn't an easy decision. I was very nervous, mm-hmm. but I was excited about it. And now looking back, I'm very happy with the decision I made. I'm excited every day, every month, every year. And I'm looking forward to growing my company, hiring people, and serving as many clients as possible. Mm-hmm. I have clients since the very beginning of my business. Mm-hmm. More have joined recently, so I'm pretty optimistic. This is my calling. This is my way of helping people.
And you know what, like, just to digress, it's great how we actually find it, because when I think about it, I always wanted to be a teacher, but my mom was a teacher back in Poland, and they don't make a lot of money. And then when I saw her sort of struggle, I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to be a teacher. But then, long story short, I get to the point where I am a teacher, just in a different capacity, right? So, and I find that a lot with my clients who are service-based businesses, just like yourself. They just love helping people. So ultimately, you get to the point, like, your calling is there, and you just figure out the way that's best for you, that you can contribute the most to helping people. So that's kind of
that's correct. And for me, it was never about money. Mm-hmm. When I left my last employer, mm-hmm. I was making comfortably enough money. Mm-hmm. I worked with a great team. Everything was fine. It was never about money. I personally, professionally, I was not happy the way it was going.
Yeah.
And I believe that I can better serve clients. I can do a better job. I saw that some of the clients were not happy, and mm-hmm. I knew why. And I decided to leave all that comfort behind, mm-hmm. take the next step and do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not making that much money. It's not about that. But to me, getting a phone call from my client, mm-hmm. thanking me for the help, thanking me for the money that I recovered from his tenant, the landlord, thanking me and seeing that I can help keep the jobs for their employees, or creating new jobs, or reinvesting that money in their business. That to me, it's worth a lot more than money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And
know,
you're right. It's not, it's not just about the number. It's about how you get to that number. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So helping, it's more than money for me.
Yeah. No, for sure. So tell us now about your first couple of years of growing a business. And, we know both from experience, from our own experience, me also from coaching clients, like first years are difficult. They're not easy. Like when you are starting something from zero, from the ground, it takes a lot of effort to build the momentum. But how those first year maybe were different to what it is now in terms of how your business grows, but also you as a business owner, as a leader of your business, your needs, wants, how it evolved.
Yeah, the first, I should say, 3-4 years were very different. I don't want to call it tumultuous, but different, because I started from zero, just like you said. And from zero meaning not just I didn't have a business before, but mentally I was not prepared. I never had a company. I didn't know how to set it up and run it, and I was never did sales and marketing, never did HR, never did anything else but lease audit. So how am I going to learn all this? It was an experience. I learned a lot. It was difficult, but I learned a lot. I had no choice. I loved it. That's the beauty of it. As difficult as it was, I loved it. My focus was to absorb as much as possible, as much information as possible, so I can make it, and I can, sign up as many clients as I can.
Yeah.
That's easier said than done. But I have to credit a number of people for helping me out, including clients. The one thing that made the biggest difference, and that happened this year, was hiring of you as a business coach. Because you open my eyes to, okay, you have a business, but you have to be very organized. You have to have a plan. First thing I did, I turned off my notifications because they drove me crazy. And I didn't notice. I didn't realize until I did that.
But we're so sometimes conditioned, right? Especially when you come from a corporate world where you're like, oh, you have to answer the emails and so on. So we're so conditioned that we don't even notice the impact when you are constantly bombarded with notifications, how it affects our effectiveness day to day.
I realized the impact only when I turned that off.
Yes.
And when I followed your advice, like check your emails 2 or 3 times a day, and that's it, and focus on one thing at the time. So when I implemented all these rules, to myself, which wasn't easy, but when I implemented, I was able to see the results right away, not only in my business, but myself. When I allowed myself to have time off a little bit at the beginning, when I allowed myself to, calm down, and you check, as tempting as it was, I still check my emails about 2 or 3 times a day. I have every day planned out. I try to stick to it as much as possible. So when I implemented all this, it made a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. So that was a game changer, absolutely game changer. And anyone who doubts, or questions, oh, should I hire a business coach or not? I strongly recommend you have to hire a business coach, because it'll straighten you. It puts you on the straight path. I should say that. and you don't realize how much time you have until you have your day organized. You'd be
Yes.
surprised. You'd be surprised. So,
And it's so true. People sometimes are scared to do that or don't want to do that because they believe what their brain says, oh, it's just going to put me in this box and it's not flexible and so on. But actually, structure creates freedom, because when we don't have structure, we're like subjects to our chaos, and the chaos drives us, right? However, that chaos looks like. It might not be crazy chaotic for you, but like depends, right? But when you create a structure that tames the chaos, but also is flexible enough, right? It's not to put yourself in a box where you can't move, because in business things change and it's dynamic. And even in your case, right, clients are calling you or sending you things and things happen. But like having that, it's such a huge, as I say, change, but you can't pinpoint what that is until you're willing to do it, right? And
yeah,
yes, help of a coach helps you because they put structure and we do it step by step. But when you do it, it's mind-blowing how much difference it makes. And as you say, it makes a difference in your business results, but also in your personal life, how you feel and how you operate, and the fact that you can take time off. And it's actually has a positive effect on your business results, not the negative effects like we tend to believe, right? Oh, if I'm just gonna work less or not work 15 hours a day, then that will affect my business results, meaning I won't make enough money. But the reality is the opposite. You actually make more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was close to burnout this year, actually, early this year, because there's so much work, and my I was not organized, and I wanted to have more clients, but I had a lot of work already. I didn't know how to handle it, the best. I did everything I could, but it was just I was not happy, And then when I started implementing the, some sort of, order, it's the results showed right away, and it was a game changer.
Awesome. Awesome. So let's talk now about the strategic planning experience this year. So I've done, just for the audience, if you haven't listened to the podcast, this year I organized a special strategic planning event for all my clients where we were doing daily a little bit of strategic thinking, CEO Power Hour, as I call it. And then at the end of the week, we met as a group and then talk through individual plans and so on. And I know that, we had that conversation even before that event in in one of our coaching sessions, that you felt like, okay, this year, because I've implemented those changes, because my business grew, you felt like, okay, now is the time. Like I need this planning, right? I need that direction. So I wanted to ask you, what were maybe some aha moments through the whole event as you did your plan? And then the biggest benefits you see of creating the time to actually do it, because I know it's not easy, right? Like, it wasn't easy for anybody to actually, believe me that when Maggie says it actually makes sense and it's organized, it has like, there's a, what do they say? There is a reason to the madness or whatever. There's like a purpose to the madness, right?
Yeah,
That
something
there's
like
a
that.
purpose to it.
Yeah.
But then when you created that time and actually did it, I want to hear from you. What was that experience like, and where you are on the other end of doing it?
Oh, perhaps I should step back a little bit and speak a little bit about lease audit itself. It's a service that it's mostly based on commission. It's based on the results that I find for my clients, and it is ultimately based on the type of leases that I review. So it's not something that I can always rely on. What I rely on is that my clients need me. I need to give them 110% to every single one. Leases are different, landlords are different, issues are different. So when it comes to finance, my finances, it's like a roller coaster sometimes. But this year, like I said, it was a game changer, creating order in my professional life and my personal by giving myself time off has helped me a lot, sort of to see through it and be able to, okay, put together a plan. And I couldn't wait for it because I know we spoke about it sometimes about a few months ago that you were planning to do this event, and I couldn't wait for it. And it's so exciting, to look back, because honestly, I didn't, throughout the entire year until recently, I didn't look back at finances. I didn't look back at how I did this year. I was focused on working on the files and again, serving my clients 110%, every single one of them. And when you brought up the subject and, about creating this event and planning and all that, I was so excited. I couldn't wait for it, right? When I got to work on it, I was like, wow, I have so many ideas. I could, enlist everything that happened, everything that I dream of happening in the future for the company. And indeed, when I put down on the paper, it was like, it was an aha moment overall, because this year was the best in 5 years. And the results have shown, and I was able to, every year in the past 3 years, I got a new client, and I want to keep that stream.
Yeah.
Getting at least one client every year.
Yeah.
It's a great moment when someone reaches out to you for help and you're there and you can do it. It's something that I cannot describe in words. It makes me very happy, to say the least. So I got a new client this year. I'm very happy and excited, and I can't wait for the results, of it next year. I was able to hire people to help me. It's difficult in my area because the kind of knowledge and experience it takes, it's a combination of property accounting and legal knowledge, as lease agreements are quite lengthy documents, legal documents, and you have to be knowledgeable and understand the language. So I was able to hire people and help me out, have new clients. I have direction, basically, right? With your help, I was able to put together the plan. I look back at this year and I'm very happy with the results. And next year has to be even better than that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and what you also mentioned is like, were you doing the plan? That's the thing. When you look back, you learn. You actually realize things that maybe you don't see, because when you're in day to day, like, serving the clients and this and that, our brain kind of like has it in, but it doesn't really notice. It doesn't click, right? But when you pause and you see, oh, this worked well and that worked well, I can improve here and so on. As you say, you start having also ideas for the following year. You start having, I call it like creative, like your brain really engages in a very different way when you have CEO power time, where you start thinking, okay, oh, I can do this and I can do that. And here's an idea and here's that idea. And then from there, you organize it, you prioritize it, and you really have focus and direction for the following year, right? And as we talk about it, it doesn't mean that you lock yourself in some sort of box that doesn't allow you to be flexible when the things change, but it provides focus and direction rather than being scattered and just responding, not being proactive, but responding to things that are happening as you go throughout the year.
Absolutely. I used to just focus on the files and work on them, and as of this year, definitely I've changed.
Yeah.
I've changed 180%, 180 degrees, should say, because I finally realized that it's very important to be focused on what I do. Absolutely. On the plan. Go with the plan the best you can. make the changes, along the way that you deem that are necessary. However, you have to stop once in a while and look back and assess and make the changes.
Yes.
And kind of step back and realize, oh, okay, how does it look? Is it what I want? Is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And reassess once in a while, which is why we created the plan, the quarterly plan, that we have to follow next year. I have to follow next year. And I want to go even beyond that and say, not only a quarterly plan, but I have an almost weekly plan that I want to update at the end of each week and look back and see, did I do everything that I planned for that week? Anything new that came up, anything that might change the plan for next week, and so on. I think it's important to follow this closely, that because that in my case it helps me a lot.
Yeah.
It helps
And
me a lot.
yeah, and I really think like when you're a business owner and a CEO, everybody needs it, right? Like there's only so far you can get your business by being in the weeds and like responding to things and going. At some point, even if you don't see it, the business will force you if you're lucky enough to even grow it, right? But there are a lot of business owners who grow it in a way like, okay, I'm just doing things, but at some point your business will force you because something will start to break, some things will fall off the radar, there will be challenges happening and so on. And it doesn't mean that when you plan, challenges don't happen, but you're so much better prepared to handle them. And there is also not only challenges, you're more prepared to handle them, but also seeing the right opportunities. And that's what we even talked about, right? When you have some creative ideas, how do I want to grow my business? And even if it's just an idea for now, your brain will see the opportunities for that idea as you go through the year because you've thought about it, right? You're not going to think, if you haven't thought about it, you'll miss those opportunities. It's almost like, that's what we talk about sometimes. When you decided to buy a car with a make and a color, now you start seeing those cars all over the street and you're like, oh, what happened? Like, I've never seen them before. And it doesn't mean they weren't there before, but you gave your brain direction. You said, hey, I want this car and so on. So the brain's like, look, there's one here and one there and so on, right? And now it looks like everybody has that car. So it's the same, right? So then talking about that, because this strategic planning, it gives you direction, it gives you focus, it organizes you, it allows you to learn, implement certain improvements, and also it helps you also build the vision, right? So let's talk about your vision for your business for the next 3 to 5 years from now. Like, what is it? How do you feel about it? Talk about that.
Definitely scaling my company. Not to the point of becoming a corporation, nowhere near that. I've had my share of experience, but I want to definitely grow it to a comfortable level, with a few employees. And definitely, I want to make everything possible to keep my current clients happy as long as possible. And getting new clients on board and expanding the services. I think it's very, very important. As I walk through, the files and I talk to them, I have meetings with them. I get the feelings that some need help in certain area or other area, whatever. The extensive experience, and I feel that the experience that I have accumulated over years working for landlords, working in just general accounting, working in property accounting, working and representing tenants and so on. I think this wealth of experience will definitely benefit tenants. Talking to them about their needs, I might be able to help them. There are so many areas in real estate. Only when you start looking in it, you realize that, wow, I didn't know it's so big, it's so huge. It is actually. Yeah. So again, I want to be able to help my clients and future clients as best as I can, offering them not just lease audit, but anything else in commercial real estate, advisory, lease administration, transactions, you name it. I'm always open for a discussion. I'm always open to helping them the best I can. So I have no limits, in terms of my dreams.
Yes.
All I want
Totally.
is happy clients, basically, right? Because that gives me great satisfaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the plan that we put together recently for next year, it's not allowing me to grow from 10% to 100%. It's not what I want. Slowly, steadily, I want to grow. So, everything in the business, grows slowly but surely, basically.
Yeah.
And starting with hiring a full-time lease auditor to help me out, participating in more networking events, in person and online, better marketing, and like I said, working with my clients to make sure that they are happy and I deliver great service. That's my number one focus.
And I love that, because it's important to have a sustainable growth where, as your business grows, you're not just growing for the sake of growth, and then you're finding yourself having so much growth that then your quality of service goes down and
Suffers,
you can't even suffers,
no.
right? The clients are not happy, because what happens is, really, when you grow, when you think about it, some people sometimes only focus on the growth of the income or the clients and the money. But what happens is, when you have challenges in your business, when, let's say, you double a business and you don't fix those challenges will double. And then they are so much harder to fix and go back to, because they are so more complex, right? So, like, the sustainable way to do it is, as you grow, you also need to prepare your business structure for it and fix certain things, or implement certain things, not necessarily fix, but implemented certain things that you didn't have in place because you didn't need them, but as you grow, you need. So that will allow you to have happy clients along the way and keep growing in a way where it's not overwhelming and then leading to burnout, because you have so much going on and so many issues that you're killing yourself trying to fix them, type of thing.
We hear so often, about companies growing so fast that at some point they close the door. They can't, for whatever reason. I don't have inside details, but they just can't make it anymore. Right? They crumble. Their infrastructure is not there to support the growth. I don't want to get there. Again, I don't want a corporation. I just want to grow a little bit more, in terms of clients, in terms of, employees. And, that's all I want.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually, I don't remember the statistical number at this point, but I did read a study that one of the main reasons some businesses close, or many businesses close, is because they've grown too fast and they haven't prepared for it, or they weren't able to, keep up with it, right? Because they haven't thought, they haven't thought through, and then, things fall apart and they have to go. So yeah, we definitely don't want that.
Nope, no, that's absolutely, that's something to avoid.
Yeah. So is there anything else that maybe you wanted to share, last thoughts, that something you wanted to share that I didn't ask you or we didn't talk about?
Anything else that I want to share? Well, I want to use perhaps this opportunity, for anyone listening to the podcast, to strongly suggest to, have a plan. That's going to help in a long term. And what I want to share is, anyone interested to know perhaps more than, about what I do, how can I help, even if it's just a conversation, feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to talk a lot of people, I still find that a lot of people still don't know what lease audit is.
Mhm.
And it's a service that definitely benefits tenants 100%, no matter the results.
Mhm. That's great. So, how people can find you and connect with you? And now we'll put, if you're listening to this podcast or watching it, we'll put links to connect with Maria in the show notes. But just, how people can reach out to you.
If I can be reached, phone, email. My phone number is 416-805-3150, or my email is maria.nenciu@richvaleconsulting.com. Again, any questions you have, even if you're just curious to know, if you're a current tenant renting space, whether in United States or Canada, you want to learn more about what are your rights as a tenant, what you should pay, what you should perhaps not pay to your landlord in terms of additional rent. Anything, really. I'm here to help. I'm here to give advice. And I'm just encouraging everyone, give me a call, write me, more than happy to help.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Maria. It was a great conversation. And thank you, everybody, for listening or watching.
Thank you very much for having me again, and wishing you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.